I'm about to tell you something that happened in a bridal boutique on a rainy Tuesday in March, in front of 3 mirrors, a seamstress with pins in her mouth, and my mother who couldn't stop herself from saying the quiet part out loud. But let me start with the important part. I'm Gabriela Reyes. I'm 32 years old, and I wore the hell out of that white dress. Every inch of it. Every pearl, every bit of lace, every strategic seam designed specifically for my body by a woman who understood something my mother never would. That beauty doesn't have a size limit, and flattering is just code for making yourself smaller to make other people comfortable. The dress went viral. Not the dress exactly, the Instagram post the designer made after my mother's comment, which captured something that apparently 14 million women needed to hear. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up to the beginning. To childhood, to the dinner table, to the specific kind of damage that gets inflicted casually and repeatedly until you're not even sure it's damage anymore, because it's just how things are. You know how some families have a drunk uncle or a conspiracy theorist cousin? That one person everyone navigates around, whose behavior is explained away, who takes up all the oxygen in the room? In my family, that person was my mother, Sandra Reyes. Except her particular dysfunction wasn't drinking or politics. It was my body. Specifically, policing it. I was a chubby kid, not obese, not unhealthy, just rounder than the other girls, with thick thighs and a soft belly and cheeks that stayed full long after I'd stopped being a baby. In another family, this might have been unremarkable. In mine, it became the central organizing principle of my childhood. I was 8 years old the first time my mother put me on a diet. Not a gentle, let's make healthy choices situation, an actual calorie-restricted diet with a chart on the refrigerator and public accountability. I remember standing in the kitchen after school, staring at that chart, trying to figure out how to make 1,200 calories stretch across a whole day when I was a growing child who was hungry all the time. "You'll thank me when you're older," my mother said, checking my food log like a warden. "I'm teaching you discipline." What she actually taught me was shame. Deep, cellular shame about taking up space, about wanting food, about my body doing exactly what bodies do, existing in a shape that didn't match the one she wanted me to have. My younger sister Carmen was naturally thin, ate whatever she wanted, never gained weight, never had to think about her body because it was already acceptable. She was 5 years younger than me, and by the time she was 10 and I was 15, we looked like we belonged to different species. She was delicate and bird-like. I was soft and substantial. My mother adored her. Not just loved, adored, showed her off, took her clothes shopping with enthusiasm, complimented her appearance constantly, naturally without the specific careful phrasing she used with me. With me, compliments were always qualified. "You have such a pretty face." Translation: "If only the rest of you matched. That dress is very flattering on you." Translation: "It hides the parts I find objectionable." "You carry yourself so confidently." Translation: "I'm surprised someone your size has any confidence at all." I learned to hear the subtext in everything. By high school, I'd internalized it completely. I was the fat daughter. Carmen was the pretty one. Those were our roles, spoken and unspoken, and I performed mine with the particular competence of someone who's learned that managing other people's discomfort with your body is a survival skill. I wore black. I wore layers. I made jokes about my weight before anyone else could. I dated sparingly and always felt like I'd won some kind of lottery when someone showed interest, because the cultural messaging and my mother's voice had merged into one clear statement. People who look like you don't get to be chosen first. And then, somehow, I grew up anyway. I went to college at UC San Diego, studied graphic design, got away from my mother's daily commentary, and discovered something shocking. Most people didn't spend every conversation thinking about my body. Some people actually liked me, full stop, without the qualifications. I made friends who invited me to things without wondering if I'd fit in the restaurant booth. I dated people who seemed genuinely attracted to me, who didn't treat touching me like an act of charity. I built a career in design that had nothing to do with how I looked and everything to do with what I could create. By my late 20s, I'd done years of therapy with Dr. Susan Park, a Korean-American therapist who specialized in body image and family trauma. She'd helped me understand that my mother's behavior wasn't about my body. It was about her own anxiety, her own limitations, her own unexamined beliefs about women and worth and what made someone valuable. Understanding that didn't make it stop hurting, but it gave me context, framework, permission to build a different relationship with myself. At 30, I met Marcus. Marcus Okonkwo was a software engineer, Nigerian-American, 6'3", with a warm laugh and the specific quality of paying attention to things other people miss. We met at a friend's birthday party. He approached me first, which still surprised me even after years of therapy. The internalized belief that people wouldn't choose me remained stronger than the evidence that they did. He asked me out. We went to dinner. He ordered dessert to share and seemed genuinely delighted when I ate most of it. He kissed me goodnight and texted the next day, and never, not once, made me feel like my body was something to overlook or accommodate or manage. We dated for 18 months, moved in together, built a life that felt genuine and mutual and based on actual compatibility rather than anyone settling. When he proposed, at the beach, simple and private, no public performance, I said yes immediately. Not because I was grateful someone wanted to marry me, because I wanted to marry him. The wedding planning started joyfully. We wanted something medium-sized, personal, in San Diego where we lived. About 120 people, garden venue, great food, dancing, the focus on experience rather than performance. And then came the dress shopping, and my mother had opinions about the wedding from the beginning. The venue wasn't fancy enough. The guest list should be bigger. Why weren't we having a church ceremony? But she'd mostly kept those opinions to suggestions, probably because my father, who'd learned over 40 years of marriage when to intervene, had told her to let us plan our own wedding. But the dress was different. "I want to come dress shopping," she announced during a video call 6 months before the wedding. Not asked, announced. "I was planning to go with Carmen and my friends," I said carefully. "I'm your mother. I should be there for this." Marcus, sitting next to me on the couch, squeezed my hand. We'd talked about this, about boundary setting with my mother, about not letting her commentary infiltrate the wedding. "You can come," I said. "But Mom, I need you to be supportive, not critical. Can you do that?" "Of course! I'm always supportive." She believed that. That was the remarkable thing. She genuinely believed her decades of commentary were supportive, were helping, were loving interventions designed to improve my life. We made the appointment at a boutique in La Jolla called Bella Figura. The owner and lead designer was a woman named Daniela Cortez, about 50, with silver hair in a dramatic pixie cut and the air of someone who'd seen every family dynamic and wouldn't be surprised by any of them. The day of the appointment, I was nervous in ways I couldn't fully articulate to Marcus. Not about the dress, about my mother, about the mirrors, about the inevitable moment when her filter would fail and the things she'd been thinking my whole life would come out in front of strangers. I brought my sister Carmen, my best friend Yasmin, and my mother. The 4 of us arrived at Bella Figura on a Tuesday afternoon when the shop was otherwise empty, which turned out to be either very lucky or very unlucky, depending on how you look at what happened next. Daniela greeted us warmly, got me settled in a private fitting area, asked questions about my vision. I told her, elegant, maybe with sleeves, something that felt like me. Not trying to hide anything, but also not trying to make a statement. Just a dress that felt beautiful. "What size are you shopping?" she asked, pen poised over her notepad. 18, I said, maybe 20, depending on the designer. "Perfect. I have several options that will work beautifully. Let's start trying things on." She brought the first dress. It was ivory, not white, with delicate beading on the bodice and a flowing A-line skirt. I put it on with her help and came out to the 3 mirrors. My mother's face did something complicated. "It's pretty," she said in the voice that meant she was preparing to say something that wasn't pretty. "But," I said, because I knew the but was coming. "It's just, white is very unforgiving. Have you thought about champagne? Or blush? Something with more color would be more flattering." There was that word again. Flattering. "I like white," I said. "I'm just trying to help, sweetheart. You know how photos can be." Yasmin caught my eye in the mirror. She knew exactly what was happening. We tried 3 more dresses. Each time, my mother had a comment. "Too much detail on the bodice. It draws attention. Too simple. You need something with more structure. That neckline isn't doing you any favors." Daniela, I noticed, was watching carefully. Not intervening yet, but paying attention. The 5th dress was the one. I knew it the moment I put it on. It was ivory silk with long illusion sleeves covered in delicate lace. A sweetheart neckline that made me feel elegant rather than exposed, and a silhouette that skimmed my curves rather than fighting them. It was designed for a body exactly like mine, not flattering in the sense of camouflaging, but flattering in the sense of actually fitting, of being made with someone like me in mind. I came out of the fitting room and Carmen gasped. "Oh my God, Ella, that's the one." Yasmin nodded enthusiastically. "You look like yourself, like the best version of yourself." I looked at myself in the 3-way mirror and felt something I hadn't felt in a bridal salon yet. Beautiful. Not despite anything. Just beautiful. My mother was quiet for a moment. Then, she said it. "Are you sure about white? You're too fat to wear white. It's going to wash you out and make you look heavier. Maybe if we found something with more—" The room went still. Daniela, who had been standing quietly by the accessories table, set down the veil she'd been holding and walked over. "Excuse me," she said to my mother. Her voice was calm, but had steel underneath it. "I'm going to need you to step into my office." My mother looked surprised. "I'm just trying to help my daughter." "Huh? Now please!" I didn't know what Daniela said to my mother in that office. I was standing in front of the mirror in the dress I loved, trying not to cry, with Carmen holding one hand and Yasmin holding the other. "She's wrong," Carmen said. You know that, right? She's completely wrong." "I know. But knowing something intellectually and feeling it are different things. The comment had landed exactly where my mother knew it would, in the soft place where all the childhood messages lived, the place that still believed maybe she was right. Maybe I was too fat for white. Maybe I was delusional thinking I could wear a dress like this. "We can leave," Yasmin said. "We can go to a different shop. You don't have to buy anything here after that." "I love this dress," I said quietly. "Then fuck her. Get the dress." Through the office door, I could hear Daniela's voice. Not the words, but the tone. Firm. Clear. Not negotiating. They were in there for 7 minutes. When they came out, my mother's face was red and tight. Daniela's expression was serene but absolute. "Mrs. Reyes is going to wait in the reception area," Daniela said to me. "Would you like to continue?" I looked at my mother. She looked back at me with an expression I'd seen 1,000 times, the specific mix of hurt and indignation that came when someone told her help wasn't welcome. "Yes," I said. "I want to continue." My mother went to reception. Daniela came back to me. "I apologize for any discomfort," she said, "but I don't allow that kind of commentary in my boutique. Everybody is beautiful. Every bride deserves to feel beautiful. And no one, including mothers, gets to take that away." I started crying. Not sad crying, relief crying. The kind of crying that happens when someone stands between you and the thing that's been hurting you and says no more. "Thank you," I managed. "Don't thank me yet. We're going to finish this fitting properly. You're going to stand in this mirror and I'm going to show you everything this dress does for you. Not to hide you, not to minimize you, but to highlight you exactly as you are. And you're going to see what I see, which is a stunning bride who's going to stop traffic in this gown." She was right. She walked me through every design choice, how the lace on the sleeves drew the eye up to my face, how the sweetheart neckline created elegant proportions, how the silk moved with my body rather than against it, how the subtle chapel train added drama without being costumey. "This dress was designed for curves," she said. "The structure works with your shape. You're not trying to fit into a dress made for someone else's body. This dress is made for you." I bought it, put down the deposit, made the alterations appointment. Carmen and Yasmin hugged me. We took photos, not for social media, just for us, to remember this moment. When we came out of the fitting area, my mother was sitting in reception with her arms crossed. "Are you ready to go?" she asked tightly. "Yes." We drove home in silence. She dropped me at my apartment without saying goodbye. That night, Marcus came home from work and found me on the couch, still in my regular clothes but wearing the sample veil Daniela had gifted me. "Tell me everything," he said. I did. All of it. The comment, Daniela's intervention, the decision to buy the dress anyway, the silent drive home. "Your mother has a PhD in finding the exact thing to say to hurt you," Marcus said. "But she's wrong. You know that." I'm starting to know that. Really know it. Good, because I can't wait to see you in that dress. I don't care if it's white or purple or covered in flames. You're going to be the most beautiful person in the room because you're you. I married the right person. I knew that for certain in that moment. What I didn't know, what none of us knew, was that Daniela wasn't done. The next day, she posted on Instagram. Not a photo of me. She would never do that without permission. A photo of a white dress form wearing a gown similar to mine, with a long caption. The post started, "Yesterday, a mother told her daughter she was too fat to wear white on her wedding day. Let me tell you what I told that mother in my office, and what I'd tell anyone who thinks a person's size dictates what they get to wear. White isn't earned through restriction. Beauty isn't conditional on a number. And my boutique, like every wedding space should be, is a place where every body is celebrated exactly as it is. To the bride, you are stunning. That dress was designed for curves like yours. You are not too anything except too powerful to be diminished by small thinking. To mothers, family members, friends, if you cannot support a bride unconditionally, stay home. Your discomfort with her body is your issue to resolve, not hers to manage. Every bride deserves to feel beautiful. Period." She tagged the post "Brides of all sizes body positivity." The post went viral overnight. By the time I woke up Thursday morning, Daniela's post had 400,000 likes and counting. By noon, it had been shared by several major bridal influencers and body positivity advocates. By evening, it had been picked up by BuzzFeed, HuffPost, and a dozen other outlets running versions of bridal designers' perfect response to mother's body shaming goes viral. My phone was exploding. Not with direct messages. Daniela hadn't identified me, hadn't shared photos, had carefully protected my privacy while telling the story. But friends were sending me links. "Did you see this? This sounds like what you went through yesterday. Please tell me you're the bride in this story." I called Daniela immediately. "I'm so sorry," she said before I could speak. "I should have asked permission first. I was just so angry after your mother left and I needed to say something. If you want me to take it down..." "Don't take it down," I said. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure. What you wrote is exactly what I needed someone to say out loud. If it helps other brides hear it too, then that's even better." What I didn't anticipate was the scale of response. By Friday, the post had 2 million likes. Major news outlets were running stories. Plus-size bridal designers were sharing it. Women were commenting in the thousands with their own stories. Mothers who'd said similar things. Family members who'd criticized wedding dress choices. The specific shame that comes with trying to celebrate your body on what's supposed to be a joyful day. And my mother saw it. She called Friday evening. I almost didn't answer, but some combination of curiosity and decades of conditioning made me pick up. "Did you see what that designer posted about me?" Her voice was tight. I did. "She made me sound like a monster. I was trying to help you. I was trying to make sure you don't look back at your wedding photos with regret." "Mom, you told me I was too fat to wear white. I didn't mean it like that." "How did you mean it?" Silence. "I meant that white is hard to wear, that certain colors are more forgiving of my body, of the body you've been telling me is wrong since I was 8 years old." "I've never said your body is wrong. You put me on a diet when I was a child. You've commented on everything I eat for 24 years. You've prefaced every compliment with qualifications. And in a bridal boutique in front of my sister and my best friend, you told me I was too fat for the dress I loved. I'm your mother. I'm allowed to be honest with you. Honesty is, that color doesn't work for me, or that style isn't my taste. What you did was cruelty disguised as care, and I'm done pretending it's the same thing. So you let that designer humiliate me publicly, put our family business on the internet for millions of people to judge? She didn't name you. She didn't identify me. She told a story about a boundary she set in her business. If you see yourself in it, maybe that should tell you something. My mother's voice went cold. If you want me at this wedding, you need to make her take that post down. I'd been waiting for this, the ultimatum, the choice she'd force me to make between her comfort and my boundaries. Then don't come, I said. I said it calmly, without performing anger or performing anything, just stating a simple fact. If her presence at my wedding was conditional on protecting her from the consequences of her own words, then her presence wasn't worth having. You don't mean that. I absolutely mean it. Mom, I love you, but I'm not going to spend my wedding day worried about what you'll say, how you'll look at me in my dress, whether you'll make a comment that undermines the thing I've spent years building, which is a relationship with my own body that isn't based on your approval. This is what that designer did. She turned you against me. No, you did this. 32 years of it. Daniela just named what you've been doing my whole life. She hung up. I called my father. I heard, he said. Did she tell you what happened at the boutique? Her version, which blamed everyone but her. He paused. What actually happened? I told him. All of it. The comment. Daniela's intervention. The post. The phone call I'd just had. I should have stopped it sooner, he said quietly. The commentary, the diets, all of it. I told myself it wasn't my place, that it was between you and your mother. I was wrong. This was new. My father acknowledging not just what my mother had done, but his own complicity through silence. You can still come, I said. You're invited. She's invited too if she can come without making it about my body. I'll talk to her. I can't promise she'll hear it. I know. What happened over the next 2 weeks was both predictable and surprising. Predictable. My mother told extended family her version of events. That I'd chosen a designer's social media attention over my own mother. That I was being manipulated by body positivity culture. That she was being punished for trying to help. Some relatives believed her, sent me messages about respecting my mother, about how she only wanted what was best for me, about how I was being cruel by excluding her. I didn't respond. I was done explaining. Surprising. Several relatives, including my Aunt Teresa, my mother's sister, called to say they supported my boundary, that they'd watched my mother's treatment of me for years and were glad someone had finally said something, that they'd be at the wedding regardless of whether my mother came. More surprising, Carmen, my younger sister, who'd never had to navigate our mother's body commentary because her body was acceptable, called to tell me she'd been thinking about the boutique day. I need to tell you something, she said. I've watched Mom do this to you our whole lives. I benefited from it, from being the thin one, the one who didn't get criticized. I never said anything because it wasn't happening to me. I should have said something. I'm sorry. You were a kid for most of it. I'm not a kid now. I'm 27. And at the boutique, when she said what she said, I should have walked out with you. I should have told her it was unacceptable. Instead, I just stood there. You told me I looked beautiful. That mattered. It wasn't enough, but I'm going to do better now. Starting with, I told Mom that what she said was wrong. That if she doesn't apologize and mean it, I'm not bringing her as my +1 to your wedding. I'm coming either way, but she's only welcome if she can act right. I started crying. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did. I'm on your side, Ella. I should have made that clear years ago. Most surprising, Daniela's post continued to gain traction. By the time we were 2 weeks out from the wedding, it had been seen by over 14 million people. Daniela's business had exploded. She was booked solid for the next 18 months. Had been featured in Brides magazine, had been invited to speak at a plus-size bridal conference. She called me a week before the wedding. I need to tell you something, she said. The post has brought in so much business. And all of it is from brides who've had experiences like yours, who've been told they're too big for certain styles, too fat for white, too much for the dress they actually want. I'm designing a specific collection now, exactly as you are, for curves, for bodies the wedding industry has traditionally ignored. That's amazing. It's because of you, because of what happened in my boutique. I want to do something for you, for your wedding. What can I do? You've already done it. You stood up for me when my own mother wouldn't. I'm comping your dress, the alterations, the rush fee if needed, everything. It's paid for. Daniela, non-negotiable. You're the reason this collection exists. Let me do this. I accepted, not because I needed financial help, but because refusing would have taken something from her, the ability to express gratitude in the way she knew how. The final week before a wedding is supposed to be chaos, last-minute details, family arriving, rehearsal dinner logistics. Mine had all of that, plus the ongoing question of whether my mother would actually show up. She hadn't called, hadn't reached out. According to Carmen, she was still hurt, still insisting she'd done nothing wrong, still waiting for me to apologize. I wasn't going to apologize. Marcus and I had a conversation on Monday, 5 days before the ceremony. How are you feeling about your mom not being there? He asked. Complicated, sad, but also relieved. I don't want to spend my wedding day managing her commentary in my head. If she shows up at the last minute? Then we'll deal with it. But I'm not inviting the problem just to avoid the discomfort of her absence. I'm proud of you, he said simply. For what? For knowing what you need and protecting it, even when it's hard. I had good people. That's what I kept realizing. I'd built a life full of people who saw me accurately, who didn't require me to be smaller or different or apologetic about existing. Marcus, Carmen, Yasmin, my father, who was trying, Daniela, who'd protected me in a moment I couldn't protect myself. My mother's absence was sad, but it wasn't the disaster she probably thought it would be. Tuesday, 4 days out, my final dress fitting. Carmen came with me. We walked into Bella Figura, and Daniela had the dress ready, fully altered, pressed, perfect. I put it on and came out to the mirror. Oh my God, Carmen breathed. Ella, you look like an actual bride, like the kind of bride people write songs about. I looked at myself, really looked. Not checking for flaws, not scanning for the things my mother would criticize. Just looking at myself in a dress that fit, that was designed for me, that made me feel exactly like myself, only more so. I love it, I said. You should, Daniela said. It loves you back. She packaged it carefully, gave me instructions for storage and transport, hugged me longer than was probably professional. Thank you, I said, for everything, for the dress, for the post, for standing up for me. Thank you for letting me, she said, for letting the story be told. Do you know how many brides have called me crying, saying they needed to hear what I wrote? You did that, by being brave enough to be honest. Wednesday, 3 days out, my father called. Your mother wants to come, he said. Did she apologize? Not in so many words. Then no? Gabriella? Dad, I love her, but I need her to understand what she did, to acknowledge it specifically before I'm ready to have her in spaces where I'm vulnerable. My wedding day is one of those spaces. She says she can't apologize for trying to help you. Then she can't come. Those are the terms. You're really willing to get married without your mother there? I'm willing to get married without someone there who can't celebrate me as I am. He was quiet for a long moment. Fair enough. I'll be there, front row. Thank you, Dad. Thursday, 2 days out, Yasmin came over to help with final details. Seating chart, vendor confirmations, all the administrative pieces that have to happen regardless of family drama. Real talk, she said while we were labeling escort cards. Are you okay? Like, actually okay, not performance okay? I'm actually okay. Because your mom is being, I know what she's being, and I'm genuinely okay. Sad, but not devastated. Relieved, honestly, more than anything. That viral post really did something, didn't it? It made it public. Made it real. Made it so I couldn't pretend anymore that her behavior was normal or acceptable or something I needed to accommodate. 14 million people agree with you. I know, it's wild. I paused. But also, it's not about them. It's about me finally agreeing with me. Friday, the day before the wedding, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. Local area code. Hello? Gabriella, this is Daniela. I'm calling because your mother is here at my boutique. My stomach dropped. What? She came in wanting to talk to me. I told her I'd only do it if you were okay with it, so I'm calling to ask, are you okay with me talking to your mother? About what? I think she wants to apologize, or something like it, but I won't engage if you don't want me to. I thought about it. About boundaries, about my mother's patterns, about the fact that my wedding was tomorrow and I didn't need this stress. Tell her if she wants to apologize, she can call me directly. You're not a mediator. Perfect. I'll tell her. She hung up. I waited. My mother didn't call. I woke up on my wedding day in the hotel suite I was sharing with Carmen and Yasmin, and the first thing I thought was, my mother isn't coming. The second thing I thought was, and that's okay. It was okay. Not painless, but okay. I'd made a choice that protected something more important than family performance, which was my actual relationship with myself, the hard-won peace I'd built with my body, the refusal to let someone else's discomfort become my shame. Getting ready was joyful. Hair and makeup with Carmen and Yasmin, who kept making me laugh, who took photos that were genuinely fun and not performative. Putting on the dress Daniela had designed, the dress my mother had said I was too fat for, the dress that fit me exactly as I was. Carmen zipped me up. Yasmin adjusted the train. I turned to look at myself in the full-length mirror. Perfect, Carmen said softly. Beyond perfect, Yasmin added. I looked at myself and felt something I hadn't felt standing in my mother's commentary all those years. Uncomplicated happiness with what I saw. Not despite anything. Just happiness. There was a knock on the suite door. Carmen went to answer it and came back looking uncertain. Ella, your mom is downstairs, in the lobby. She says she needs to talk to you before the ceremony. I could feel my heart rate spike. No. What do you want me to tell her? Tell her... I stopped, thought about it. About what I actually wanted, not what would keep the peace or avoid conflict. Tell her if she has something to say, she can put it in writing and give it to Dad. I'm not having a conversation that might upset me 2 hours before I walk down the aisle. Carmen nodded and left, came back 5 minutes later. She gave me this. She held out a folded piece of hotel stationery. Said to give it to you. Said she'll be in the lobby if you want to see her after you read it. I took the note, sat down on the couch, still in my wedding dress, unfolded it. Gabriella, I'm downstairs because I can't miss this. I know you don't want me here, and I know I earned that. But I need to tell you something before you get married. You were right about everything, about the diets and the commentary and the 24 years of making you feel like your body was something to fix. I did all of it because I was terrified. Not of you being fat, of you experiencing what I experienced, which was being dismissed and ignored and treated as less than because of size. I thought if I could keep you thin, I could protect you from that. I know now that's not protection. It's damage. It's me projecting my own fears and my own damage onto you instead of doing the work to heal it myself. I saw that designer's post. I read every comment. Thousands of women telling versions of the same story. Mothers who couldn't let them exist as they were, who made their bodies a problem to solve. I didn't want to see myself in that. But I am in that. I'm exactly that. I can't undo 24 years. I can't take back what I said in the boutique. But I can tell you this. You are not too fat for white. You're not too anything. You're my daughter, and you're beautiful exactly as you are. And I'm sorry it took a viral Instagram post for me to say that out loud. I'm downstairs if you want me at your wedding. I'll understand if you don't. Mom! I read it twice. Then I handed it to Carmen and Yasmin. What do you think? Carmen asked after reading it. I think it's real, I said slowly. I think she means it. I also think one apology doesn't undo 24 years. Do you want her there? I thought about it honestly, about what would feel right, not what would look right or what would make other people comfortable. Yes, I said, but with a boundary. I wrote my own note back, handed it to Carmen to deliver. Mom, you can come. But if you make one comment, one single comment, about my body, my dress, anything related to my appearance, you leave immediately. This is non-negotiable. If you can accept that boundary, you're welcome. Ella. Carmen left to deliver it. Came back 10 minutes later. She's coming. She said she'll sit in the back and she won't say a word unless you want her to. Okay. Are you sure about this? Yasmin asked. No, but I'm sure I want to give her this chance. The ceremony itself was perfect. The garden venue, the afternoon light, 120 people who'd chosen to be there. My father walked me down the aisle. Just him, not my parents together, a choice I'd made deliberately. Marcus at the altar looked at me like I was the only person in the world. The officiant, our friend James, told our story with humor and warmth. We'd written our own vows. Mine included, I promise to take up space unapologetically, to feed myself without shame, to inhabit my body with the same joy and security you've always seen in me. His included, I promise to love every inch of you without qualification, to never let anyone, including me, make you feel small, to celebrate the person you are instead of trying to shape you into someone else's vision. People cried, the good kind of crying. I saw my mother in the back row. She was crying too, quietly, without drawing attention to herself. After the ceremony, during cocktail hour, she approached me carefully. You're beautiful, she said simply. That dress is perfect. You're perfect. No qualifications. No but. Just the compliment I'd waited 32 years to hear. Thank you, I said. Can I hug you? I let her. It wasn't a complete reset. One apology and one wedding don't erase decades. But it was something. A beginning of something different. I'm writing this 2 years later on a Sunday afternoon in the home Marcus and I bought last year. I'm wearing leggings and a t-shirt, drinking coffee, working on a design project deadline. Living a completely normal life that just happens to occasionally include being tagged in articles about the viral bridal post that changed the industry. Let me tell you what's happened in the 2 years since that wedding day, because I think the aftermath matters as much as the moment. Immediately after the wedding, Daniela's Instagram post continued to have a life of its own. It's been shared over 300,000 times. It's been referenced in academic papers about body image in the wedding industry. It's been used as a teaching tool in fashion design programs about inclusive design. Daniela's Exactly As You Are collection has become her signature line. She now exclusively designs for sizes 14 to 32, and her business has tripled. My relationship with my mother, it's complicated and ongoing. That wedding day apology was real, but it was also the beginning of work, not the end of it. She's in therapy now, individual therapy working on her own body image issues and the trauma she inherited from her mother. We have dinner once a month. She still sometimes catches herself starting to make a comment about food or bodies, then stops herself. I watch her stopping herself. It's progress. She sent me flowers on the 1-year anniversary of my wedding with a card that said, I looked at your wedding photos yesterday and couldn't stop staring at how happy you look, how right you were about that dress, about everything. I'm sorry it took so long to see it. I called her after I got the flowers. We talked for 2 hours. My relationship with Carmen, stronger than it's ever been. She's engaged now, and when she asked me to come dress shopping with her, I went. We went to a different boutique. She's thinner than me and needs different styles, but the experience was joyful and equal. When she came out in her dress, I told her she looked beautiful. Just that, no qualifications. The way I wish our mother had spoken to me. Marcus and I. Still married, still good. He gained some weight during pandemic lockdown and had his own moment of navigating body commentary from his family. We talked about it, about the different ways men and women experience body policing, about the specific ways Black men's bodies are policed differently than white men's, about internalized anti-fatness as a thing we both carry and work against. He's wearing his body differently now, with less apology. says watching me navigate my mother's commentary and come through it changed how he thinks about his own body autonomy. The wedding photos. We received them 3 months after the wedding. Marcus and I looked through them together on the couch. I was nervous, the old fear that my mother had been right, that I'd look back and regret the white dress, that the photos would confirm all the things she'd said. They didn't. I looked happy. I looked like myself. I looked beautiful in the specific way that comes from being wholly present in your body rather than managing it. There's one photo I love especially, me laughing at something Marcus said mid-ceremony, completely unposed. My face is turned up toward his, the dress is catching light, and I look utterly unself-conscious. That photo is framed in our living room. I walk past it every day and feel joy instead of criticism. Daniela. We stayed in touch, not close friends exactly, but occasional email correspondence. She sends me photos of brides wearing her collection. I send her updates on my life. On the 2-year anniversary of her viral post, she tagged me in a follow-up Instagram story, with my permission, with my wedding photo that shows the dress but not my face. 2 years ago, I posted about a mother telling her daughter she was too fat for white. Today, I'm posting an update. That bride is thriving. The mother apologized and is doing her own work. The viral post led to a collection that's dressed over 200 brides, and the wedding industry is slowly, imperfectly starting to make space for all bodies. Progress isn't linear, but it's real. Thank you to everyone who shared their story. You changed something. The broader impact. This is the part that still surprises me. The post and the media attention around it actually did change things. Not everywhere, not completely, but measurably. Several major bridal retailers expanded their size ranges. David's Bridal launched a body-positive marketing campaign explicitly referencing Daniela's post. 3 bridal shows featured plus-size models for the first time. I get messages occasionally from brides who read the articles, who saw the post, who needed permission to wear the dress they wanted. They send me photos sometimes. Gorgeous plus-size women in white dresses, looking radiant and unself-conscious and completely themselves. Each one feels like validation, not just of my experience, but of the choice to let Daniela tell the story, to not protect my mother from the consequences of her words, to believe that honesty matters more than family performance. My own body. I'm the same size I was on my wedding day, maybe slightly bigger. Bodies change, and that's normal. I don't weigh myself anymore. I eat foods I enjoy without logging or tracking or apologizing. I wear clothes that fit and feel good instead of clothes designed to hide or minimize. I'm pregnant. 14 weeks. We haven't told many people yet, but I'm telling you because it matters to this story. I'm pregnant, and I'm going to gain weight, and my body is going to change dramatically, and I'm navigating my mother's commentary about it in real time. She's trying. She catches herself. But the old patterns are strong. Last week she asked me if I was planning to eat carefully during the pregnancy to avoid gaining too much. I looked at her. She looked back. Then she said, "I'm sorry. That was my fear talking, not my love. Ignore what I just said." "I'm going to gain whatever weight my body needs to grow this baby," I said calmly. "And I'm going to feed myself without restriction or shame. If you can't support that, we're going to have limited contact during this pregnancy." "I can support it," she said. "I'm working on it." She is working on it. I see the effort. It's not perfect. Progress isn't, but it's real. What I want you to take from this story. If your family has been policing your body, you're not imagining it. It's real, it has impact, and you don't have to accept it as the price of relationship. Setting boundaries isn't cruel. Protecting yourself isn't selfish. Refusing to perform gratitude for commentary that damages you isn't ungrateful. It's essential. People can change. Not always, not easily, but sometimes. My mother is changing. Slowly, imperfectly, with setbacks and breakthroughs. I didn't wait for her to change to set my boundary. I set the boundary, and then she chose whether to do the work to meet it. The wedding industry is changing too. Still too slowly, still with too much resistance, but changing. That's not because of my story alone. It's because thousands of women refused to accept that certain bodies don't deserve celebration. Daniela was one of them. I was one of them. Every bride who insists on the dress she actually wants is one of them. Your body is not a before photo. It's not a problem to solve. It's not something that needs to be fixed before you deserve celebration. You deserve the dress you want, the celebration you want, the life you want, exactly as you are. I'm sitting here at 34, pregnant, in the home I share with my husband, drinking decaf coffee because that's what pregnancy requires, and I'm genuinely happy, not despite my body, with it, because of it, in partnership with it. The viral post was 2 years ago. The wedding was 2 years ago. The boutique comment that started all of this feels like it happened to a different person, which in some ways it did. That person was still holding her mother's voice as truth. This person isn't. Somewhere in La Jolla, Daniela is probably fitting a bride who needs to hear that she's not too anything. Somewhere in the world, another mother is probably telling another daughter she's too fat for white. And somewhere, hopefully in that same room, someone is saying what Daniela said. No, that ends here. That's all I wanted from this story. For it to end differently than it started. For the pattern to break. It did. Not perfectly. Not completely. But enough. That's all any of us can ask for, I think. To break the pattern enough that the next generation doesn't have to carry it. My daughter, we're having a girl, won't carry it. I'll make sure of that. She'll wear whatever colors she wants. She'll inhabit whatever body she has. She'll know from the beginning that she doesn't have to earn the right to take up space. That's the real ending. Not a viral post, not a wedding, not even a changed relationship with my mother. Just a daughter who won't have to spend 32 years learning to believe she's enough. She'll know it from the start. San Diego, California. Sunday afternoon, late autumn. If you're the bride who needed permission to wear the dress you want, you have it. If you're the daughter still hearing your mother's voice criticizing your body, I hear you and she's wrong. Build the life anyway, wear the dress anyway, take up space anyway.